Number 270, Cyanide. Number 31, Lady Hoo-Ha. Number 4, Mouse. Number 5, Miss Mechanics. Number 8, Sasspot. Number 815, Antimatter. Number 833, Honeybeast. And Captain number 8990, Frankie Fatale. The Res Dolls are supported by bench coaches Scout, Caligari, Mass Myrtle, Tenacious D, Blitz Siren, Block Nest Monster, and Bomb Chew. Give it up for the Reservoir Dolls.
For a second. DJ, cue the music. Every day we see the Vaudeville Vixens. Starting off our 2018 Vaudeville Vixens, we have 000, Lady Painicorn. At 10:29, Black Velvet. 1967, Jocelyn Hell. 1975, Neon. Number 207, Slam Chowda. Number 22, Happy Go Lucky. 23, Saucy McBossy. At 2:38, Radio Smacktive. Number 24, Shantastic McAwesome. Number 30, Lemon Drop Kick. 3006, that's Bonnie Riot. Number 32, Dalek Doll. Number 49, Donna Stunner. Number 67, Blanche Devereaux. 666, Evil Elfsies. 672, La March Madness. 713, Diaphragm. At 7184, Wolframmer. At 750, Whiskey Chaser. The Vixens are supported on the bench by Darling Nikki, Nefarious, Tipsy Velvet, and the Smartash. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Vaudeville Vixens!
Thank you. That was Assassinate and Zing Crosby introing our teams. I am Rich Mahogany.
And I'm Dolly Pardon Me, and we are here tonight at the Alliant Energy Center exhibition halls with the Vaudeville Vixens and the Reservoir Dolls in the grudge match for the championship bout tonight.
That's right. This one is for third place. Both of these teams have fought very hard during this season. Reservoir Dolls 3-1, only falling to the bad squad last time we all met on April 7th. And the Vaudeville Vixens 2-2 so far. So we are just about ready to get into this first jam, Dolly.
That's right, Rich.
We are going to see Jocelyn Hell wearing the star for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink, and we will be seeing Mouse jamming for the Reservoir Dolls in black.
And this this game is sure to bring a lot of action. I'm excited to see how this goes down because the Reservoir Dolls and the Vaudeville Vixens met up like this in the second game of the season, and we'll see how things go this time. Right. Reservoir Dolls, I think, won the last time against the Vaudeville Vixens.
That they did. They won over the Vaudeville Vixens by 44 points. The Vixens had been up for the half But then Reservoir Dolls ended up surging in the first jams in that second half and taking the victory. And we are into this first jam. We see Mouse pushing her way up to the front of the pack now against 3 blockers for the Vaudeville Vixens to beat. She will get through, is completing her initial pass, takes lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right, Rich. And lead jammer is the first jammer to get through that pack legally and in bounds, passing all skaters. You'll see that signal from the referee with the hands up. Now Mouse just getting through that inside line, picking up what's called a grand slam. That's 5 points. 1 point for each blocker she passed, as well as a point for the jammer. Mouse already through the pack again, picking up another 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
That's right. Jocelyn Hell now through the pack. You can see, for those of you who may not be as familiar with roller derby, we've got these skaters with stars on their helmets. Those are the jammers. They are the ones that are eligible to score points. As Dolly was just saying, you get that lead jammer designation by making it through the pack, which is the largest group of skaters from both teams. Then you get that lead jammer designation. That gives you one very special power, the ability to call off the jam.
That's right, Rich. And you saw Mouse call off the jam by putting her hands on her hips right at the end of that jam. That means the referees blow those whistles and the points that were scored are put up on the scoreboard, and the next pack lines up with jammers. We've got in pink, it looks like Shantastic McAwesome, number 24, jamming for the Vixens. And for the Reservoir Dolls with the star just going down there into the corner is Lady Hoo-Ha, number 31.
Jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens, Shantastic McAwesome, picking up a quick penalty at the start of that jam, getting a back block penalty. So whenever a skater performs an illegal maneuver such as that, they get to go to the penalty box, sit for 30 seconds. They will be back in the action shortly.
Meanwhile, Lady Hoo-Ha and the Reservoir Dolls now have a power jam. So Lady Hoo-Ha able to still score points. Every time she gets through the pack just like that, she also scores on the jammer of the opposing team who is in the penalty box. So that's a 5-point grand slam for Lady Hoo-Ha that she picks up and gets through the pack there again, just as Shantastic McAwesome is also released from the penalty box, but has to get through the pack of Reservoir Dolls there.
So Shantastic McAwesome has just gotten through that pack. That is her initial pass. She is now eligible to begin scoring points. That's going to force Lady Hoo-Ha to call off the jam from the floor there.
That's right. You saw her jump to try to get over that apex, we call it, that little curve in the line. If you jump from inbounds and land inbounds, you can get all of the points for the blockers that you passed. If you land on your knees or on the ground, it's not considered, I believe, a legal pass. So you may not get the points, and then you have to recycle yourself back to the back of the pack. So Lady Hoo-Ha, they're calling off the jam to pick up the points she had and then get on to the next one. We've got Black Velvet jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens, and Supernova jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
It looks like Supernova got out first, got lead jam there, but then Black Velvet got out in front of her. So she was going to be ending up scoring points first, so Supernova wisely calling off the jam, preventing those points from going up on the board. We are currently at Vaudeville Vixens 0, Reservoir Dolls 28. As we go into the fourth jam of this game, we are going to see Mouse, number 4, wearing the star for the Reservoir Dolls in black, going up against Dalek Doll, number 32 for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink.
Dalek Doll going down there. Mouse trying to get around some Vaudeville Vixens, takes that inside line and gets out. Lead jam again going to the Reservoir Dolls. They've really dominated with that lead jammer status here and are able to then score those points and determine when that jam is called off.
That's right. They've gotten lead jam the last 4 jams, all 4 jams this game so far. Dalek Doll ended up with a little bit of a slow start to that jam as she lost the cover to her knee pad. So need to take a moment to sit and reaffix that before she get back on the action. Did end up threatening to shut down that, or to score points in that jam. So only 2 points scored by Mouse in that last one. Res Dolls bring their score total up to 30.
And this may seem like a big point spread, but in roller derby, 20 to 30 points could be scored in 1 2-minute jam if the opposing jammer is in the penalty box. This jam, we've got Lady Hoo-Ha, number 31, jamming in black for the Reservoir Dolls. And we've got 1967, Jocelyn Hell for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Lady
see
Hoo
Lady
through to take lead jam. She is through, going to complete that scoring pass. That's 4 points, calls off the jam before the Vixens can score any points. So that's 4 more points up for the Reservoir Dolls. Score Res Dolls 34, Vixens 0.
And the Reservoir Dolls doing a great job of calling off that jam strategically right as they score points, not allowing the Vaudeville Vixens to score any. And because they've gotten that lead jammer status each jam and then called off the game, they're keeping the Vixens to 0 points here.
That's right, very smart plays. Those, we call that a hit it and quit it jam, where you hit the pack, you get your points, and you quit it. You end the jam. But getting into this next jam, we see Shantastic McAwesome jamming for the Vixens up against Supernova for the Reservoir Dolls. Shantastic McAwesome just back from a hand injury. This is her first game being played since she's come back from that. She's going to force her way through the front of the pack. One blocker left to beat. She is through. Lead jam goes to Shantastic McAwesome and the Vaudeville Vixens. First lead jam of the game for them.
That's right, Rich. Supernova now making her way through the pack. A lot of hard blockers to get through there on the Vaudeville Vixens and Reservoir Dolls. Means that it's going to take a little bit longer, but Vaudeville Vixens jammer Shantastic McAwesome, you saw, tried to call off the jam there, but was called to the penalty box. So Shantastic McAwesome in the penalty box. Supernova now also called on a penalty, it looks like.
So this is a good opportunity to explain a little bit of what happens with jammers and penalties. So when a jammer with lead jam goes to the penalty box, they lose that lead jammer designation. So now Shantastic McAwesome is no longer able to call off the jam. Nice jump over that blocker.
She is able to still use her agility and score as many points.
So like this jam will go for the full 2 minutes. And when a jammer goes to the box, so we already have a jammer in the box, and then another jammer goes, we don't want a jammerless jam. That's no fun. So that immediately releases the jammer who had already been sitting in the box, and the jammer that just reported to the box only has to spend the amount of time that the original jammer spent.
So both
Simple,
Shantastic McAwesome, yeah, simple math. Great job explaining that, Rich. But both jammers now back on the track. Shantastic McAwesome in the front there trying to pass by some Reservoir Doll blockers. But it looks like Supernova now called off the track back to the penalty box. That's 2 penalties in this jam, and that'll give Shantastic McAwesome that power jam, the only jammer on the track. Since the jam goes for 2 minutes, it has that time has expired, and so it is called off. But the Vixens pick up 10 points on that jam, the Reservoir Dolls 3, and that'll bring the Reservoir Dolls lead 37 to the Vixens 10.
All right, so we will be right back after this commercial break. Thank you for watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Hi there, you're watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls, and we're here at the championship bout of season 14. We'll be taking you back down to the track, to the action here. We've got Black Velvet jamming in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens, going up against Supernova in black for the Reservoir Dolls. Supernova starting that jam in the penalty box.
It was a nice job by Vixen blocker, a rookie drafted at the half season, or at the mid-season, Diaphragm.
That's right.
So knocking the Res Dolls blocker, I believe that was Antimatter, into the inside, opening that inside line for Black Velvet to get lead jam. Black Velvet now around for a grand slam. That is 5 points. Supernova having started this jam from the penalty box, now back on the track, but the jam will be called. So that is 5 points up for the Vaudeville Vixens, increasing their score to 15, holding the Reservoir Dolls scoreless. 22 points separate these teams. And as we have 21 minutes remaining to play in the first half.
Game coverage tonight brought to you by Hinckley Productions, leading the way in live HD video streaming and professional commercial video production, supporting the Dolls and Derby since 2008. Thank you to Hinckley Productions.
As we look down to this next jam, we will see Black Velvet has just gone to the penalty box on a forearm penalty, so she'll be starting this jam from the box, giving the Reservoir Dolls and Mouse a power start. So Mouse will get up to the front of the pack. Lead jam goes to Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls.
That also gives Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls, like you said, a power jam. Sometimes those penalties happen right at the end of a jam. Mouse looking to touch her face there like someone might have knocked into it. But sometimes those penalties happen at the end of the jam, and it's a little bit confusing, but that jammer starting in the penalty box is an advantage for the Reservoir Dolls, and Mouse there taking those points. Black Velvet now out of the penalty box, back on the track and completing her initial pass.
So the Vixens will now try to take control of the pack speed here up at the front of the pack, slow things down. Mouse is going to break through and force them to move up to try to avoid becoming points. As the jammer's hips pass the hips of an opposing skater, that is when the points are scored. So we will see 12 points up for the Reservoir Dolls, holding the Vixens down to 0. Got an instant replay for you here. Black Velvet in the back, trying to get through on the outside, staying in on her toe stops.
And then running around that outside lane, yes.
Very nice toe work there.
Great athleticism here by all the skaters, especially jammers need to be super agile back and forth across the track. We've got jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens is Dalek Doll, number 32. And jamming for the Reservoir Dolls is Lady Hoo-Ha. It looked as though Dalek Doll got out of the pack first, but Lady Hoo-Ha is your lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Dalek Doll sent to the penalty box.
Lady Hoo-Ha now with a single Vixen blocker to beat. Having trouble seeing her number. I believe that is,
Lady
that is
Hoo-Ha
672. La March Madness she beats there. Gets through for a grand slam.
Signaling her pack to try and move those Vixens up, but she's just going to take her way through there on her own. It looks like she is called to the penalty box, though, as she gets through that pass, right as Dalek Doll is released from the penalty box. So Dalek Doll now with the Vaudeville Vixens in a power jam, but because Lady Hoo-Ha went to the penalty box, this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
That's right, 54 seconds remaining to skate in this jam as Dalek Doll gets through. That completes her initial pass, so she is now eligible to start scoring points. Reservoir Dolls really trying to drive up that pack speed as the Vaudeville Vixens come through, break up that wall.
And it looks like a little bit of confusion. Dalek Doll sent to the penalty box again for, I believe, a track cut penalty there,
yes,
right around the outside, as Lady Hoo-Ha released from the pack, now trying to score as many points for the Reservoir Dolls as possible. She hits the Vaudeville Vixen blockers and just goes right through, picking up a grand slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
So I believe, based on when Dalek Doll took a seat in the box, there were more than 30 seconds remaining on the period clock, or I'm sorry, on the jam clock, so she should be back in the action. There she is. She is now back on the track, so the jam will end momentarily, but with both teams at full strength, Lady Hoo-Ha just breaking through for another 5-point pass. 15-point jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Vixens getting 0. Score now Vixens 19, Reservoir Dolls 64 with 17 minutes and 10 seconds remaining to play in the half. I'd like to take a moment here to thank one of our sponsors here for Mad Rollin' Dolls, WRT, and invite you to tune into WRT 89.9 FM community radio for great underground music and talk. Go to WRTFM.org to listen live or on demand.
And now, taking off from the jammer line, Jocelyn Hell, number 1967 for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink, jamming against Supernova, 185 for the Reservoir Dolls in black.
Supernova trying to get in on the inside, but ends up picking up a penalty. I believe that is a forearm penalty. So this will now be a power jam for Jocelyn Hell, who has picked up lead jam for the Vixens.
Jocelyn Hell signaling her teammate lemon drop kick as she does a nice little pirouette there around that inside, picking up that grand slam and 5 more points for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Very nice maneuver there, staying upright and then continuing to skate backwards. Gonna dance on the inside line. Does she stay in? She does not. That is a track cut penalty. So off to the penalty box she goes, releasing Supernova from the box. Though Supernova had served most of her penalty time, so Joss will be serving at least 20 seconds in the box.
And
Supernova on the outside does get through. That'll complete her initial pass.
And now Supernova and the Reservoir Dolls have some time to pick up some points. Jocelyn Hell no longer lead jammer since being sent to the penalty box, so this jam will go the full 2 minutes. Supernova with 1 more to pass. That's Whiskey Chaser on the Vaudeville Vixens. Gets past and picks up that 5-point grand slam for the Reservoir Dolls. Just as Supernova coming around the turn there, Jocelyn Hell coming in from the penalty box. A little jammer on jammer action there. And now it looks like Supernova stuck behind the Vaudeville Vixens defense. as Jocelyn Hell pushes the Reservoir Dolls up front. And this is a game of both simultaneous offense and defense, Rich. So those skaters that are blockers out there are determining whether they play defense against that jammer or go and help their jammer and play a little bit of offense against the opponents. So
that's right. So playing defense means you are trying to stop the opposing jammer. Offense is you are trying to help your jammer. It's obviously there's more nuance and complexity to it, but that's it in a nutshell.
Most sports, though, you're playing one at a time. So if a team has the ball, they're on offense, and the other team is playing defense. In roller derby, we do it both at once. And Jocelyn Hell there showing you what agility these athletes need to get through and get those points scored.
So we have a team timeout called for by the Vaudeville Vixens. That'll give us an opportunity to thank another one of our sponsors, Laura Realty Group. Dolls kick ass. Off the track, Laura Realty Group is ready to jam for you and all your real estate needs. Laura Realty Group located at 2229 Atwood Avenue or online at laurarealtygroup.com. That's L-A-U-E-R realtygroup.com.
And have you heard the news, Rich? The Mad Rollin' Dolls are hosting a 3-day WFTDA recognized tournament this May. The invitational, called Utter Chaos, will take place at the Hartmeyer Ice Arena May 18th through May 20th, so just about a month away. For more information and to secure your tickets now, visit madisonrollerderby.org/utterchaos.
All right, thank you for joining us here at the Mad Rollin' Dolls. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi
And
there.
we are back. We are here watching the game between the Reservoir Dolls and the Vaudeville Vixens in the grudge match for the championship out here in the Mad Rollin' Dolls. We've got Shantastic McAwesome on the track, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink, going up against Supernova for the Reservoir Dolls in black. Supernova starting this jam from the penalty box, so a power start for Shantastic McAwesome and the Vaudeville Vixens.
Shantastic McAwesome, though, still trying to fight her way past the blockers out there, the Reservoir Doll blockers, the Mad Gabber, Call It a Wild, Full Frontal Judity, and Critical Hits, all trying to keep her from getting that lead jammer status. Now Supernova out of the penalty box, able to make her way through on the initial pass. When a jammer is knocked out of bounds, just as you saw Supernova being knocked out of bounds by La Marche Madness there, that jammer has to go back and enter the pack behind the blocker. Otherwise, they get called on a penalty.
That's right, that is the fundamental of the track cut penalty. So you'll often see a blocker knock somebody to the outside and then run backwards, because as you said, that skater needs to come back in behind the skater that knocked them out of bounds, assuming that skater stayed in bounds themselves.
That's correct. And you're going to see Shantastic McAwesome out there as lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens, picking up another Grand Slam as she goes through the pack. Knocked down there, though, as she approaches the back of the pack, trying to fight past the Reservoir Dolls. Once the jammer's slowed down behind that wall, it's a lot harder to get through than if she's coming up and your team is able to spread out those the blockers. So that's what you're seeing happen there.
Nice block there by La Marche Madness, forcing Supernova to the outside, going to recycle her back, just as we were saying there. So she's continuing to try to get by now with only one blocker to beat, and Wolframmer. Wolframmer will ram her out to the infield. So Supernova now getting up off the floor as the jam has been called. A big jam for the Vixens, 18 points, starting to close up this score gap. It's
That's right.
57 to 75.
And you'll see on your screen the Vixens and the Res Dolls jammers for this first half, the jams that they've been in, how many times they've gotten lead jammer and their percentage, how many times they've went to the penalty box, and then how many points they've picked up. So Shantastic McAwesome leading in points scoring for the Vixens with 28 points. Lady Hoo-Ha leading for the Reservoir Dolls with 33 points.
Back into the action. Black Velvet runs up the outside line, going to get lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. She is going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls, who's now completed her initial pass and will be threatening to score points. Black Velvet gets around the last blocker for Reservoir Dolls. Is going to call off the jam before... No, Mouse does get through. That jam is a wash. That is 4 points on either side.
And you saw Mouse smiling as she saw Black Velvet calling off the jam. If that jammer following the lead jammer is really close and it takes that lead jammer a little bit to get through the pack, usually the opposing team can pick up a few points as that jam is called off.
So that was our first tie jam of the game. And we have an official review being called for by the Vaudeville Vixens. So they are now going to go to the inside of the track. The captains and the alternates for each team plead their case to the referees, say, hey, we saw something in that last jam that we don't think was called the way it should have been. Whether it be they're looking for a penalty assessed that was not, a penalty that was assessed that should not have been, perhaps different points.
And various points, yeah, that are scored.
So we will get information on that. We're actually just getting confirmation now from our ref alternate, Thaco, that they are just using this as a team timeout. So that is one of the other ways that you can use an official review. Just say, like, you know, we just want to use that as a team timeout. So as far as clock stoppages are concerned, each team for the entire game gets 3 team timeouts. So the Vixens have already used 1. That's all you get for the entire game. Official reviews work a little bit differently. You get 1 per half, and if you ask for something to be reviewed and win that review, you get your official review back for the first time. So you can win 1 official review. If you win the second one, you still lose it, but then you get a brand new official review at the second half. Now as we get back into the action, Lady Hoo-Ha wears the star for the Reservoir Dolls. That's number 31 in black, going up against Dalek Doll, number 32 in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And Lady Hoo-Ha is your lead jammer in this jam. She is coming through the pack right as Dalek Doll gets out of her on her initial pass.
Oh!
Knocking into Dalek Doll, Lady Hoo-Ha knocks her down and does get called on a penalty. So if that interaction between the two jammers results in an illegal target zone or place on the body of Dalek that Lady Hoo-Ha hit, that is going to be a penalty if it's a major impact on that jammer or blocker's position. So Lady Hoo-Ha sent to the penalty box. Dalek Doll and the Vaudeville Vixens now with the power jam. You see them lining up on the outside, racing up a little bit to get that pack moving. Dalek Doll takes a whip off of one of her skaters things, and you see Lady Hoo-Ha coming right back in from the penalty box and jumping over that inside line.
And nice dodge of a hit by Evil Elsie's there as Lady Hoo-Ha flies around the track.
And Lady Hoo-Ha through the pack just right after Dalek Doll through the pack, because Lady Hoo-Ha was the lead jammer in that first pass. There is no lead jammer again. We're going to go the whole 2 minutes. So we got 30 seconds left in this jam. Lady Hoo-Ha getting past the March Madness, last Vixen, picking up some more points for the Reservoir Dolls. And Dalek Doll knocked to the inside there by the Mad Gabber on the Reservoir Dolls.
Lady Hoo-Ha coming into contact with that Vaudeville Vixen pack. They're trying to force her out to the inside, but she's holding her ground. Going to push to the outside. Only 3 blockers to beat. See Radio Smacked it. Evil Elfsie's One March Madness and Wolframmer out there. Lady Hoo-Ha will get through. That is going to be a 4-point scoring pass as the jam comes to its natural 2-minute conclusion. That's a very close jam. 21 points picked up by the Vaudeville Vixens to the 20 for the Reservoir Dolls. Score now, Vaudeville Vixens 82, Res Dolls 99. Just 1 point away from breaking that century mark. We've got 9 minutes left to play in this first half.
That's right. Thank you for watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls. You're joining us here watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls bout, championship bout of season 14. We have 2 bouts tonight. The Vaudeville Vixens and Reservoir Dolls playing for 3rd place. And Jocelyn Hell in pink, number 1967, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens, going up against Mouse, number 4 in black for the Reservoir Dolls.
Mouse trying to wiggle her way through that Vaudeville Vixens wall. It's manages to tear it asunder, and they can't get back together quite fast enough. Mouse is through. However, lead jam goes to Jocelyn Hell and the Vaudeville Vixens. Mouse hot on her heels as both jammers approach the pack for their scoring pass. Jam will be called. Looks like 1 point is called for the Vaudeville Vixens, 0 for the Reservoir Dolls. So Vixens now having closed up the score gap. We were seeing at the start of this game a little bit higher of a score differential as we were seeing
The Reservoir Dolls started off with 30 points almost to the Vixens 0, but now Vixens with 83, Reservoir Dolls with 99. We're going to see what happens here. Vaudeville Vixens jamming 4 pretty consistently, and it looks like the Reservoir Dolls jamming 3 jammers pretty consistently. Lady Hoo-Ha jamming number 31 again for the Reservoir Dolls through the pack first and out, and is your lead jammer. Jamming against Shantastic McAwesome, number 24 in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens. And Lady Hoo-Ha gets through the pack, calls off that jam, and that's 4 more points for the Reservoir Dolls. And you saw the Reservoir Dolls really starting this half with that lead jammer status and then calling the jam off consistently, hitting that pack, getting through, quitting that jam, and not allowing the Vixens to score any points. So the Reservoir Dolls with 103 now, breaking the century mark. Just a little over 7 minutes to go in this bout.
Lining up for this next jam, we see Black Velvet wearing the star for the Vixens, runs up the line, does get through for a quick lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. She's going up against Supernova for the Reservoir Dolls, who is just now breaking free of the pack. Black Velvet coming up the outside, whips around Whiskey Chaser, will get through for 4 points. Supernova approaching the pack to threaten to score points. Black Velvet seems content to let this one ride out.
Black Velvet trying to get around the track again, gets more points for the Vaudeville Vixens. Able to take that outside line the first couple of passes, but here just like making her way through the middle of the pack. Because she lapped Supernova, gets that extra point or grand slam. And still going, Black Velvet around the outside again, turning and calling the jam off right at the last blocker to beat there. So Vaudeville Vixens bring it up to 95 points with a 12-point jam by Black Velvet. Reservoir Dolls at 107.
Now only 12 points separating these two teams. We're going to see another quick lineup here. We'll see Dalek Doll jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. Reservoir Dolls taking up that position at the, right up on the jammer line, doing a braced 3-wall with 1 floater off to the side. That floater in the form of Lip Smacker will end up catching Dalek Doll as she tries to go on the outside.
And as you see the Reservoir Dolls there, as Dalek Doll pushes forward, they recycle to the front of the pack, rotating and moving around, knocking Dalek Doll down to the inside. Meanwhile, Mouse, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, gets around on the outside and picks up lead jammer status. Dalek Doll still trying to get through on her initial pass.
Bit of a tumbling happening as we enter turn 3.
A little bit.
See, our skaters are skating on polished concrete. There are a few seams in the floor, little, nothing that affects skating too drastically, but there are a few little delicacies to skating on this floor that, especially when you're not necessarily used to skating, and I think this is now our second or third bout this season that we've skated in.
And these skaters train hard all the time throughout the week, but this is the time then to really perform. And as you're going full force through that pack, it is oftentimes going to keep you going back and forth. Mouse, though, doing a great job for the Reservoir Dolls. They're a 14-point jam, keeping the Vixen jammer to 0 points on that last jam, bringing the Reservoir Dolls up to 121. Vixen still with 95.
Seeing that instant replay there, Mouse just weaving through the Vaudeville Vixens defense, looking to go very quickly, even though it was in slow-mo.
Exactly. Lady Hoo-Ha now jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, going up against Jocelyn Hell, jamming for the Vixens. That's 1967 in pink, jamming against 31 in black. Lady Hoo-Ha finds a way through the inside line there and picks up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls.
So Jocelyn Hell emerges from the pack, putting that jammer star back on her helmet. You can take that jammer star off if you want. You can do a little bit of star stash play. However, removing it makes it so you cannot get lead jam anymore. So it's wise to only do that once you have lost the lead jam position, which Lady Hoo-Ha had picked up, but she herself has just lost after picking up a back block penalty. So she will now spend 30 seconds in the penalty box to think about what she's done. This gives Jocelyn Hell and the Vaudeville Vixens a power jam.
And that's just what the Vixens need right now. You saw Lady Hoo-Ha through the pack there. She did knock into, I think, Whiskey Chaser on the Vaudeville Vixens. While both skaters went down, it was more of a major impact, and it may have been determined another move that did that as well. Meanwhile, Jocelyn Hell picking up a Grand Slam, her second Grand Slam there through the pack for the Vaudeville Vixens, just as Lady Hoo-Ha is released from the penalty box. Lady Hoo-Ha now through the pack will pick up those points for the Reservoir Dolls as Jocelyn Hell is knocked to the infield and recycled to the back of the pack by mechanics on the Reservoir Dolls.
Lady Hoo-Ha pushing through the pack with Jocelyn Hell hot on her heels. Joss will jump over the apex. Little leap there. Does complete it. 4 points up for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Lady Hoo-Ha coming around the track now. You see the Vaudeville Vixens trying to race up to the front. If you're in front of that jammer, you're not a point. Once that jammer gets past you, you become a point there. Lady Hoo-Ha falling down, but getting right back up, picks up those points, and it looks like that jam will end with the Vaudeville Vixens picking up 19 points. Reservoir Dolls with 13 points, though, even though Lady Hoo-Ha going to the penalty box did a great job of scoring points there as she got back out. And you see Lady Hoo-Ha, the lead point scorer there for the Reservoir Dolls with 70 points. Mouse coming in with 46. On the Vixens, Jocelyn Hell with 35, Shantastic McAwesome with 28, and Dalek Doll with 26. And it looks like our other jammer was 25. So all pretty, Black Velvet, I believe, all pretty evenly spaced out there. We got Shantastic McAwesome now 24, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens, stuck behind a wall of Reservoir Dolls.
He is jamming up against Supernova, who's just juked to the outside, gets around all of the defense, gets through for a Grand Slam. She's coming back around the pack, looking to do it again. Will she go out? She does. She's knocked to the outside. The pivot, that is number 672, La March Madness. She will come back in, force her way through.
Great job forcing her way through those toe stops, though, turning around. As she was turning, she got through that pack, but it looks like she's sent to the penalty box for a forearm or track cut penalty. Must have gotten one of those toe stops out of bounds.
So that will be Supernova's 5th penalty of this half. Looks like she's picked up 4 track cut penalties there. Worth noting, as you can only get 6 penalties. Once you pick up that 7th penalty, you are ejected from the game.
That's right, Rich. We've got Shantastic McAwesome with a power jam here. And if the Reservoir Dolls have one of their 3 main jammers in kind of penalty trouble, it'll be interesting to see what they do in this bout. They do have some other jammers that could be put on the line. We'll see what happens. But Supernova now out of the pack. Out of the pack there after being released from the penalty box. Shantastic McAwesome was not lead jammer, so this jam goes 2 whole minutes because Supernova went to the penalty box.
So you may note that the period clock did just expire, but we will respect the jam clock over the period clock. So another 10 seconds remaining to skate. Supernova knocked to the outside, forced to recycle to the back of the pack. Back behind Radio Smackdown.
Shantastic McAwesome out of the front of the pack, but Slionide, Saspot, and Antimatter doing a great job there of defense on Shantastic McAwesome. So that brings us to the end of the first period of the Reservoir Dolls Vaudeville Vixens bout. Reservoir Dolls in the lead, Rich, with 148. Vaudeville Vixens close behind with 127. It'll be great to see what happens in this next half.
That's right. It's been a very close game. The Res Dolls keep pulling forward. I believe the most they've pulled forward by is 40 points, but the Vixens just keep bringing it back. I believe then the lowest score differential we've had has been 12 points. So Res Dolls holding the lead this entire game, but Vixens really not giving up. We'll see which way it goes in the second half, so stick around. We will be back shortly. I'm Rich Mahogany.
I'm Dolly Pardon Me. Thanks for watching us.
What's your story? How do you tell it? In your smile? Through your actions? You are the author of your script. Unmistakably, unequivocally. And with every story, there's a journey. a personal path leading to the heart of the matter. Since 2007, Hinckley Productions has been capturing your journey, your essence, your shine, your story. We're listening.
Welcome back. We are here at the second half of the Mad Rollin' Dolls grudge match between the Vaudeville Vixens and the Reservoir Dolls here at the Alliant Energy Center Expo Halls. I am Rich Mahogany.
And I'm Dolly, pardon me. We're going to go into the second period here. Vaudeville Vixens behind 127 to the Reservoir Dolls 148, but a great game so far with a lot of back and forth action, a lot of really strong showing on the jammers parts and the blocking out here. You see on your screen, top scorer for the Reservoir Dolls, Lady Hoo-Ha, 70 points, about as much as Mouse and Supernova combined almost. And then the Vaudeville Vixens kind of spreading out their points between Shantastic McAwesome, Jocelyn Hell, Dalek Doll, and Black Velvet.
Taking a look at some of the penalty sides of things. Reservoir Dolls has a single skater at 5 penalties. That is Supernova, so she's going to need to be quite careful going into the second half lest she foul out. Otherwise, there are two skaters with 3, the Mad Gabber and Lady Hoo-Ha. Everybody else with 2 or fewer. Over on the side of the Vaudeville Vixens, things are looking very clean. Nobody with more than 2 penalties. So Vixens not having to worry a whole lot about penalties as they go into the second half. Res Dolls with
with a little penalty trouble, but still, having done a great job in that first half. We'll see how things play out. We got a dance party going on as we wait to get started here. We are going to start with Black Velvet, 1029 on the Vixens, jamming in pink, up against Mouse, number 4 on the Reservoir Dolls, jamming in black.
Both of these teams out with a diminished pack strength. We've got Lemon Dropkick in the box for the Vaudeville Vixens and Lip Smacker in the box for the Reservoir Dolls. Lip Smacker, though, is standing in the box, gets right back into the action. We've got lead jammer decided as Black Velvet. However, Mouse out in the lead, threatening to score points. So that jam is going to be called off before any points can be scored.
And you see Black Velvet kind of disappointed there. She got out of the pack first, was lead jammer, but then kind of slipped on that turn as Mouse sped past. So very strategic, though, to call off that jam if you are the lead jammer and the opposing jammer is going to be scoring first. Now we've got Dalek Doll, number 32, jamming in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens, up against Lady Hoo-Ha, number 31, jamming in black for the Reservoir Dolls.
Lady Hoo-Ha trying to go up the inside line, going to meet with Lady Painicorn. Does end up getting through on her second attempt. That'll be lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Dalek Doll, in the meantime, does now clear the pack. That's going to be getting her scoring pass. Lady Hoo-Ha trying to get through the Vixens defense. She will weave between them, picks up all 4 points and calls off the jam. So that is a 4-0 jam in favor of the Reservoir Dolls. Score now 152 to 127 with 28 minutes and 38 seconds remaining to play.
We want to thank one of our sponsors, Stone Fence, your go-to for locally and U.S.-made gifts, goods, and art. Women-owned and operated on 2322 Atwood Avenue. Stone Fence. And we've got the Vaudeville Vixens jammer, Jocelyn Hell, 1967, jamming in pink up against Supernova, 185, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. Jocelyn Hell recycled to the back, just as Supernova also recycled to the back of the pack by Hoppy Go Lucky.
Supernova going to get around on the outside, going to take lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls, just kind of sneaking through. It's almost like the Vixens didn't quite expect her to be there at that time. It was like, oh no, the inside line, we don't need to watch, or the outside line, we don't need to watch that right now. Oh, yes you do.
And a lot of times those jammers hit right in the middle and then kind of move one way or the other, trying to fake that whole blocker pack to kind of go with them. And then it's very strategic to kind of move and get out of that area where you're guiding the whole pack to go and sneak around that outside or inside. So you see Supernova there picking up 3 points for the Reservoir Dolls. They're at 155. Vaudeville Vixens with no points in that jam, 127. But we've still got plenty of time left in this bout or game. I still call it a bout, Rich, because I'm an old school skater
Bout
from
is just so
back
satisfying.
in the day.
It's just
sure
such a
is.
satisfying term. As we get into this next jam, we are going to see Shantastic McAwesome wearing the star for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink, picking up a penalty. That is a track cut penalty. So this will be a power jam for Mouse and the Reservoir Dolls in black.
Mouse through the pack too. She's also picked up lead jammer status for the Reservoir Dolls, and she's coming up against the pack here now, trying to make her way through for points. Knocked to the outside by, it looked like Bonnie Riot right at the end there.
And she's going to be race cycled back by Evil Elfsies. Evil Elfsies in her debut game here at Mad Rollin' Dolls. She was a mid-season draft. So that is
That's right.
she, Diaphragm, and Saucy McBossy. This is their first game playing. Like, they've been rostered for the past few games. However, this is their first game playing with MRD.
That's right, and that's really exciting. We've got a lot of rookies on all teams this year. They get drafted, but don't always see game play time. In that review there, we see Mouse getting through on the outside.
Getting down into this next jam, Black Velvet wears the star for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink up against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Reservoir Dolls in black. Black Velvet through to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens, as Lady Hoo-Ha does stay in on the inside. He's going to complete her initial pass and really putting on the speed, trying to catch up to Black Velvet as Black Velvet enters the pack to begin her scoring pass.
Black Velvet turning around and calling off that jam before the Reservoir Dolls jammer can get around the track. Vixens pick up 4 points on that last jam, bringing them to 131. Reservoir Dolls still ahead by about 30 points. It looks like 29 points in the lead here.
That's right. That's about the margin that the Reservoir Dolls have been holding throughout the first half. So as we were saying at the end of the first half, the Res Dolls have been holding this line, and the Vixens keep pulling it back, and then Res Dolls stretch it back out. We're going to see what happens here as Dalek Doll jams for the Vaudeville Vixens, going up against Supernova for the Reservoir Dolls.
Supernova trying to make her way around the outside, almost knocked down. It looks like the Vaudeville Vixen blocker went down, but Supernova remains upright and is your lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls.
In the meantime, Dalek Doll jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens going off to the penalty box on a track cut penalty. So this will be a power jam for the Reservoir Dolls.
Supernova trying to make her way through the pack against the Vaudeville Vixens defense. Happy Go Lucky, Radio Smacktive, and La March Madness out there on the track, recycling themselves. And you'll normally see one blocker trying to hold that jammer on her butt, and other blockers either helping to join her and create a wall, or getting in front of her trying to brace and kind of communicate as to where that jammer is. Now you've got Happy Go Lucky, La March Madness as that wall with Radio Smacktive trying to help communicate. Just as Dalek Doll gets onto the track there and through, it looks like Supernova jamming for the Reservoir Dolls smartly calls off that jam.
Yeah,
So
that'll be a 5-point jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Vixens held scoreless. As we'll line up for this next jam, we will get Black Velvet jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. Two very strong skaters, both of these skaters skating together on the Dairyland Dolls, the charter team that comes together from all the best skaters here at Mad Rollin' Dolls. So normally skating as teammates, now as opponents, as Black Velvet gets through to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And you saw Black Velvet just kind of walk over that pack, or through it actually, to get lead jammer. Mouse hot in pursuit through the pack now. Both jammers eligible to score. Black Velvet with that typical outside turnaround, call off the jam. And you can see Mouse as well as Black Velvet playing on the Dairyland Dolls team at our tournament that we are hosting from May 18th to May 20th called Utter Chaos. Check it out on our website. Dairyland Dolls will also travel to Milwaukee for the Midwest Brouhaha. But we'll get back to the action here with the Vaudeville Vixens taking on the Reservoir Dolls at the Alliant Energy Center. Thanks for watching.
And we're back here watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls championship bout for season 14. This is the grudge match between Vaudeville Vixens and the Reservoir Dolls. We've got action on the track. Lady Hoo-Ha is the lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls, going up against Jocelyn Hell for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Jocelyn Hell stuck in the pack behind the Reservoir Dolls defenses. Lady Hoo-Ha gets lead jammer status and is approaching the pack there, eligible to score points, and does so on that last pass. It looks like Lady Hoo-Ha picking up that natural grand slam as the Vaudeville Vixens jammer was stuck in the pack still.
So Lady Hoo-Ha now with 2 blockers to beat at the front of the pack will get through, calls off the jam, waiting for score confirmation. That's going to be another 4 points, 9 points total for that jam for the Reservoir Dolls, holding the Vixens down to 0. Score now, Vaudeville Vixens 135, Res Dolls 174. 21 minutes and 34 seconds remain to play. As you see on your screen here, our current jammer stats. Lady Hoo-Ha remains the high-scoring jammer for the Reservoir Dolls, jamming 9 times, getting lead in 5 of those. Going to the box 3 times, 83 points total.
And you see the lowest point scorer for the Reservoir Dolls scoring just about as many points as the top scoring jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. So back on the track now, we've got Black Velvet jamming in pink up against Supernova jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. Supernova is your lead jammer out of the pack first there, and Reservoir Dolls will have the lead jam as well as a power jam, it looks like. Black Velvet sent to the penalty box on that lead pass. Supernova now through the pack for a grand slam. And as that jammer there, you see Black Velvet standing up. That means there's 10 seconds or less remaining of their penalty, so she'll be coming on the track soon. They're a big hit to Supernova by Diaphragm. Supernova goes down but gets right back up and knocked to the inside. She decides to call off that jam.
Whiskey Chaser right there waiting for her on the apex. So that jam going to be called, as you said. We had a grand total of 10 points up for the Reservoir Dolls, 0 for the Vaudeville Vixens. So the Res Dolls once again starting to pull out that lead. We now have, what is that? If my announcer math is correct, we've got 49 points separating these teams.
Yeah, Res Dolls with 184, Vixens with 135. I just like to say the numbers, everyone can do their own math. And we got an official timeout called. That last hit, though, you saw Diaphragm hit Supernova. Supernova went down, and Diaphragm kind of immediately looked to the ref and then went to the penalty box, kind of knowing that that hit might have been a penalty. So she will start in the penalty box for the Vaudeville Vixens. This gives us a chance to thank some of our sponsors. We'd like to thank Javan Al-Yasseri for sponsoring the Mad Rollin' Dolls. Javan is a psychotherapist and clinical social worker providing mental health and counseling services for individuals, couples, and families in the Dane County area, specializing in providing gender identity counseling as well as providing sex therapy for individuals and couples and general mental health counseling services for teens and adults. For more information and to schedule a free phone intake interview, visit Javan's website at JAVONALYASIRI.com. Javan Al-Yasseri. Thank you.
You see there, Madam Knockabout playing around with Mr. Black and Blue, the Vixen and Reservoir Dolls mascots respectively. One thing of note is this is actually Mr. Black and Blue's final game with us here at Mad Rollin' Dolls. After this season, he will be retiring. He's been one of our amazing mascots for years, so we've been so lucky to have him. We'll be sad to see him go, but look forward to keeping him around as a fan.
That's right, and we've had lots of great skaters, referees, mascots, volunteers throughout the years that have helped us. We are in our 14th season here, Rich, and all those fans coming back for some more action or brand new fans coming in. But yeah, you'll always see the mascots running around throughout the bout, taking on various different shenanigans and different things. Families cuddled up together as the Quad Squad mascot stands there by him. But yeah, lots of great action here. Although this is our final bout of the season here at our home venue, you can check out some more Madison Roller Derby at the Utter Chaos Tournament coming up in May. This invitational will feature leagues from around the country, and we're hosting a 3-day tournament from May 18th to May 20th. Check out our website for more information, madisonrollerderby.org.
So we just got an update on that official review. The Reservoir Dolls are looking for a. They called the block that happened on or the pink blocker. I believe it was diaphragm.
That's right. We talked about that.
They're calling it a reckless and egregious hit. So the Res Dolls are looking for an expulsion on this one. So it looks like though the call is. Like she is still sitting in the box. So it looks like she is not going to be ejected.
Well, and Rich, that's what teams have a chance to do with that that timeout or that challenge, basically. What's it called again?
Official review.
Official review, sorry. When a team calls for that official review, they're challenging one of the reviews that the officials have done and asking for it to be reviewed and made sure that the call was correct. So because that was a turn and a big hit by diaphragm that caused a major impact on Supernova, if there was a hit to the head or anything that was what one might term egregious to cause harm, then that could be called as an expulsion. Typically, those events happen as major penalties, and once a skater gets 7 of those penalties, then they are not expelled from the bout, but just fouled out. Yes. So an expulsion would be a little bit bigger, meaning you don't have to reach that foul out period. You're automatically out of the bout.
That's right. Diaphragm only with 3 penalties currently, but she is staying in the box, so she stays in the game, and we are back in the action, Dolly.
That's right, Rich. We've got Shantastic McAwesome, number 24, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens, going up against number 4, Mouse, for the Reservoir Dolls.
Mouse is going to get through that Vixen wall, gets lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Fantastic McAwesome now going to try to find that hole on the outside line. She will get it. So she has completed her initial pass, looking to score some points as Mouse enters the pack.
And there, Mousy taking the Vaudeville Vixens to the outside line, then getting passed on the inside, calls off that jam before Shantastic McAwesome can score any points for the Vixens. We're going to have Dalek Dahl lining up for the Vaudeville Vixens, number 32 with the star, up against Lady Hoo-Ha, number 31 for the Reservoir Dolls. And we've seen these two jammers jam against one another and jam quite consistently in this game.
That's right. Lady Hoo-Ha currently the top scoring jammer of the game with 83. Dalek Dahl with 26 points on her end. So Lady Hoo-Ha is going to push through that tripod, but nice job by Whiskey Chaser, forcing her to the outside, giving just enough time for the rest of the Vaudeville Vixens blockers to get there. They can't hold her back forever, though she will get through as lead jam. However, Dalek Dahl right out behind her as they both approach the pack. Oh!
And this time, Dalek Dahl trying to catch up with Lady Hoo-Ha, I think yelling something at her, ends up kind of stumbling a little bit. Lady Hoo-Ha, though, topples over and calls off that jam. And you see the jammers hugging at the end of a jam. So even though that competition is on the track, these skaters all skate together in practice and with one another. So there's a lot of love and community within and off the track.
That's right. We are all one league here. As you said, we're like, not only do we all practice together, but then there are those that go on to play together as the Dairyland Dolls or as Team Unicorn.
That's right. We've got Jocelyn Hell now jamming in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Supernova jamming in black for the Reservoir Dolls. And it looks like Supernova is still trying to get through as Jocelyn Hell gets lead jammer status and makes her way around the track, picking up a a grand slam and 5 points for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Supernova now through the pack that will complete her initial pass. She is now eligible to score points. Jocelyn Hell pushing up against the Res Dolls wall, gonna get forced to the outside. That'll force the call off. Grand total of 6 points scored for the Vixens that round against holding the Res Dolls scoreless. Score now, Vaudeville Vixens 141, Reservoir Dolls 188. We've got 17 minutes left to play. We're going to take a quick break here. Thank you for watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Hi there, you're watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls championship bout. We are watching the grudge match of our championship bout here at the Alliant Energy Center. We're going to take it down to the track action. We've got Mouse jamming again for the Reservoir Dolls. Black Velvet jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. Black Velvet out first and lead jammer. Mouse is also out of the pack and eligible to score points. And as Black Velvet gets out of the pack, calls off the jam, you see the other jammers coming, or the blockers kind of all coming down there. So there will be a timeout call just to make sure that everybody is okay. And we got a hard hitting sport here, full contact. There are injuries that occur, obviously, but that's what the rules are for, to kind of put in place some safety measures. And we make sure to any skaters that hit their head or take a big heavy fall do get checked out. So on your screen there, we're going to see the Vaudeville Vixens jammers, Fantastic McAwesome and Jocelyn Hell, with 41 points each. That's their top score. Supernova with 50 points herself. And even though the Reservoir Dolls just have 3 jammers and Vaudeville Vixens 4, they're leading by, looks like about 44 points here. So 16 minutes left. The Vaudeville Vixens still can make up that point differential. Reservoir Dolls, though, really taking that initiative and getting that point score.
That's right. The Vaudeville Vixens victory most certainly not yet out of reach for them. But the Reservoir Dolls have been playing so well together, not only all game long, but all season long. Really only losing that one game last bout we had on April 7th to the Bad Squad.
That's right.
In acting like what was quite an upset, because going into that game, the Reservoir Dolls had won all 3 of their games. Bad Squad had lost all 3 of their games,
That's right.
and Bad Squad brought it back. So the Reservoir Dolls have got to be going into this game being like, no, we were supposed to go to that championship. We are not taking 4th place.
That's right, Rich. And we call it the grudge match because you're not able to play in the championship bout and get that championship trophy. We have the Leg of Champions, which is a wonderful mannequin leg on a skate that was created by our league in that very first season that we held the bout. So that has traveled around, and the Reservoir Dolls have gotten that Leg of Champions quite a few years in a row. I believe they were the only team to get that championship trophy for 3 years in a row. And it looks like in tonight's second bout, the Quad Squad will be trying to do that as well.
That's right. Quad Squad currently doing a bit of a heel turn this season, now known as the Bad Squad. They found a creepy old evil fortune-telling machine in the woods, and that has turned them bad, infusing them with evil energy. And they have won the last 2 championship bouts, so they will be going for that 3-peat this year in our game to follow this. But we are ready to get back down to the action. Who do we have jamming tonight, Dolly?
We've got Lady Hoo-Ha jamming in black for the Reservoir Dolls, looking to get out of the pack first, but just gets outside, has to recycle back. And we've got Dalek Doll jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens.
So Lady Hoo-Ha did get out initially to take that lead jam, but then was forced to the outside and forced to recycle back. So Dalek Doll will get out.
Dalek Doll gets out first, and Lady Hoo-Ha is upset she had to call that jam off.
She's like,
That's right.
Sorry, Dalek, I had to call it. Sorry. You know, like Dalek Doll wanted, he was like, but I'm out ahead. I want to make points.
Well, and all the skaters on the track want to play that full jam. You only got 2 minutes on the track there. So for one of the jammers to call it off right away, it's kind of like you don't even get to play much roller derby. But we're lining it up again on the jam line. Jocelyn Hell in pink for the Vixens, wearing the star against Supernova in black for the Reservoir Dolls.
Jocelyn Hell's going to get out first, but Supernova right behind her.
And both jammers trying to get away. Jocelyn Hell out first, but it looks like Supernova realizing she was the lead jammer there in that jam, so calls off the jam. Another quick turnaround there, and we'll line it up again. We want to thank another sponsor, Willie Street Co-op. Everyone is welcome at Willie Street Co-op. Stop by to check out the best selection of organic, natural, and locally made food around. A proud supporter of Mad Rollin' Dolls, Willie Street Co-op has 3 locations: Willie West on University Avenue in Middleton, Willie North in the North Town Center Mall in Madison, and Willie East on Williamson Street.
We are back into the action. Black Velvet out to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens, going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. Mouse just getting out of the pack herself, going to threaten some points as Black Velvet comes around turn 2, crashes into the Res Dolls defense. Going to try to push her way through. She will break through. Calls off the jam.
And it looked like she crashed into a few of her teammates as well going into that wall. A lot of times you don't see your jammer coming because they're going around so fast that you can't always get out of the way. But the jammer will get you out of the way. And here you see her pushing diaphragm, getting around her quick, and then getting right past that Reservoir Dolls defense, turning around and calling off that jam. So the Vixens with 4 points, keeping the Res Dolls to 0. Going to line it up again with Dalek Doll jamming for the Vixens, up against Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls.
A jammer matchup we have seen several times tonight. Lady Hoo-Ha is going to get out first, taking that lead jam. Dalek Doll coming up from behind, up around the outside, is through to complete her initial pass.
And Lady Hoo-Ha now eligible to score points, getting through and past the Vaudeville Vixens there in the back of the pack. Dalek Doll trying to find her way through the pack as well. Lady Hoo-Ha is going to keep this jam going. And you'll see the pack kind of trying to break one another up as their jammer gets approaches. Lady Hoo-Ha through that pack really quickly. Dalek Doll knocked to the out of bounds and gets right back in. It looks like Lady Hoo-Ha just wants to keep jamming. She's going to jump that apex there and then call off the jam, picking up one more pass of points there scored. So Lady Hoo-Ha with 12 points there, Dalek Doll with 8. Nice jump, landing upright and inbounds.
So we are going to get into this next jam. We'll see Supernova jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Evil Elfsies in her jamming debut here for the Vaudeville Vixens.
That's right. Evil Elfsies, a mid-season draft for the Vaudeville Vixens. First time on the jam line tonight, wearing the star for the Vaudeville Vixens.
She will push through. Does get forced to the inside, though, is going to be recycled back. Supernova now up at the front of the pack, but all of the Vixens blockers have cycled up ahead of her. Evil Elfsies is going to get through first to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. Supernova also out of the pack, looking to put on that pressure as both jammers are approaching the pack.
Evil Elfsies glancing behind to see where Supernova's at. She sees her teammates in the back trying to get past one Reservoir Doll, calls off that jam to pick up that quick point. And cheering to the crowd as her debut there, jamming, picking up 1 point. She calls it off, but Supernova able to sneak in there for the Reservoir Dolls and pick up 4 points.
We'll take a moment here to thank one of our sponsors, Our Lives Magazine, serving Madison and Wisconsin's LGBT and XYZ community for 10 years, out 6 times yearly and available for free by mail subscription or at various locations throughout Madison and Milwaukee. Online at Our Lives Magazine or OurLivesMadison.com.
We've got Black Velvet jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens, taking your lead jammer status, going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. And the pack is all over the place as the jammers approach there. Black Velvet approaching the pack first, passing a couple blockers and turning around and calling off that jam.
So score currently Reservoir Dolls in the lead, 207 to the Vaudeville Vixens, 160. That'll be 47 points separating these two teams as we have 10 minutes and 30 seconds remaining to play. Again, victory not yet out of reach for the Vaudeville Vixens, but things are coming down to the wire. They're going to have to start making some big plays here and really start coming back and knocking out this Reservoir Doll jamming power as Lady Hoo-Ha gets through to take lead jam for the Res Dolls. She's jamming against Fantastic McAwesome for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Lady Hoo-Ha, one of those lead jamming powers on the Reservoir Dolls. She gets around the outside and calls off that jam quickly, picking up another 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. Vixens kept to 0 points in that last jam. And both teams doing a great job getting out there, getting quick turnarounds, a lot of really fast jams when one team got lead and the other jammer in the lead. We've got a couple blockers in the penalty box there, so teams will start with 3 blockers each on the line. Jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, Supernova again, 185, going up against Dalek Doll, number 32 for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Valiant effort there by the Mad Gabber, trying to knock Dalek Doll to the inside, but she will absorb the hit. However, it looks like due to a no pass, no penalty, she does not get lead jammer designation. That has gone to Supernova, who now being recycled to the back of the pack is going to call off the jam. A little bit of chaos around turns 1 and 2 there, Dolly.
That's right. You saw Evil Elvesies race out and knock Supernova to the outside. So even though Supernova had gotten out of the pack and was determined to be lead jammer, she got knocked out of bounds and had to recycle herself all the way to the back. So she was able to quickly get back in the action.
So looking at this next jam, we've got Mouse skating number 4 for the Reservoir Dolls in black, going up against Jocelyn Hell for the Vaudeville Vixens. That's number 1967 in pink. Jocelyn Hell out first to take lead jam. Mouse also out of the pack, looking to threaten to score some points here. Vaudeville Vixens will lose blocker Diaphragm to the box. The jam will be called. Waiting for quick confirmation on the score here. 0 up for the Reservoir Dolls, 1 point up for the Vaudeville Vixens. Score now, Vixens 165, Res Dolls 211. And we will take one moment here. Thank you for watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back. Thank you for joining us here at the end of the game of the grudge match for 3rd place between the Reservoir Dolls and the Vaudeville Vixens here at the Alliant Energy Center Expo Halls in Madison, Wisconsin for season 14 of Mad Rollin' Dolls.
That's right, Rich. We've got Vaudeville Vixens jammer Black Velvet on the line there, going up against Lady Hoo-Ha. Lady Hoo-Ha still stuck in the pack as Black Velvet gets out first and is your lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. Vaudeville Vixens doing a good job kind of recycling around turns 1 and 2 there to keep Lady Hoo-Ha in the pack as Black Velvet comes through the pack scoring points for the Vaudeville Vixens. She calls off the jam after picking up those 4 points quickly before the Reservoir Dolls can pick up any additional points. So the Vaudeville Vixens needing to do that every jam and even throwing in a few more of those bigger plays if they are to overcome this point differential here. Lady Hoo-Ha with almost 100 points is your lead scorer for the evening. Mouse with 58, Supernova with 54, Black Velvet with 48, and then other jammers picking up the points there as well. We've got Supernova, though, on the line again, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, going up against Shantastic McAwesome for the Vaudeville Vixens.
That's right, Pack really digging in here around turn 1, but Shantastic McAwesome is going to break through, run up the inside, take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. Supernova recycled to the back of the pack by Diaphragm, and we see Vixens losing a blocker there. We've got Hoppy-Go-Lucky heading off to the penalty box.
And you saw Hoppy and another blocker go down, I think, as they recycled Supernova, or knocked Supernova out and Diaphragm went back. So Shantastic McAwesome here now knocked to the inside, recycled around as well behind the Reservoir Dolls blocker there. Back and through the middle, or through the inside there and through the pack, it looks like picking up those 4 points.
Supernova now getting out of the pack herself. Shantastic McAwesome looking to see which way she's going to go. She does get some nice help from her team. Going to weave around. Does she get all 4 points? It looked to me like she may have. Nope,
That's
looks
right.
like only 3. No, that was 4. My math is terrible.
That's all right, Rich. She got all 4 as she passed that last blocker, calling off that jam. Supernova picking up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. And we're going to line it up again with Mouse wearing the star for the Reservoir Dolls up against Dalek Doll, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. We've got just under 5 minutes to go in this second half. Can the Vixens pull it out and pull out some big plays, or will the Reservoir Dolls take this win.
Well, Dalek Doll out to take lead jam. However, Mouse right on her heels, threatening to overtake her as both jammers come around turns 1 and 2. Got to be careful there because there have been a number of spills happening. So.
And Dalek Doll looks to see all of the Vixens are in the back of the pack, so she calls off that jam because she sees Mouse approaching that pack. Mouse going to be eligible to score those points then sooner than she would be able to. So smart call off there, but the Reservoir Dolls, that works right into their game strategy of just using time wisely. So
speaking of wise time management, Vaudeville Vixens using one of their remaining 2 team timeouts to stop the clock here. I'm sorry, that I take that back. They're using an official review. So it looks like they had initially called for a team timeout, but we are now getting a signal from the track that instead they are calling for something. So we will find out what they are looking to have reviewed and deliver that to you as soon as possible. But until then, I'd like to take a moment to thank another one of our amazing sponsors without whom we wouldn't be able to do what we do, the UW School for Workers. The UW School for Workers' mission is to empower working people and labor organizations at the job site, in the national economy, and in the global economic system through a comprehensive program of lifelong adult learning opportunities. Sign up for an upcoming class on important topics like labor and employment law, internal organizing, or bargaining benefits by visiting schoolforworkers.uwex.edu.
Yeah, we've got some mascot shenanigans going on out there again on the track.
Madam Knockabout threatening to cut Mr. Black and Blue. I don't know where she got that giant straight razor. It's terrifying.
Family-friendly venue here. Bring all the kids out and dance with the Mad Rollin' Dolls. We do have some upcoming events that the Mad Rollin' Dolls are hosting, as well as some league fundraisers. So check out our website at madisonrollerderby.org. We will be at Mooya, the location on McKee Road in Fitchburg, Wisconsin, on May 2nd. So join the Dolls there. There'll be a fundraiser for the Dairyland Dolls. And then we'll also have Wheelhouse and Wheels, a Derby brat stand, stop by the Wisconsin Brewing Company on Friday, May 8th, where they'll be grilling out and selling Miller & Sons brats and hot dogs starting at 5 p.m. Wheelhouse will be performing from 6 to 9 p.m. So join the Dairyland Dolls travel team, help them raise some funds, and then also check them out at the 3-day WFTDA recognized tournament this May. That's Utter Chaos, taking place at the Hartmeyer Ice Arena. And another way that you can help the Mad Rollin' Dolls is we're looking for a new home in the Madison area, and we need your help. Every penny helps fund this amazing nonprofit organization of athletes, and something as simple as adding a donation to your next ticket purchase, or joining these skaters at Mooya Wednesday, May 2nd will help. We're going to get back to the action, though, Rich. What's going on down there?
We've got Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Jocelyn Hell for the Vaudeville Vixens. Lady Hoo-Ha is out first. However, right on her heels is Jocelyn Hell as the pack picks up speed around turn 3. Do have a quick update on that official review that the Vaudeville Vixens were looking for. They were looking for a back block penalty on number 4, Mouse. However, it was found that the back block did not occur. Whoa! Nice
fancy footwork there. Lady Hoo-Ha showing that she not only has roller derby skills, but also figure skating skills as well. She comes through the pack there, though, before the Vaudeville Vixens jammer can score any points. Lady Hoo-Ha calls it off, then turns to avoid the skaters, and you see how great she looks there on one skate. We're going to get back down to the action with Supernova jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Black Velvet, who is your lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. Black Velvet so fast I didn't even see her. They're out of the pack and around the track. She's eligible to score points here. I'm going to pass the first Reservoir Doll and then go up against the 3-wall in the front. Makes her way through but keeps skating. It looks like Black Velvet trying to get those points on the board for the Vaudeville Vixens.
So we've got Supernova heading off to the penalty box on a track cut penalty. That is actually her first penalty of the half. So that is her 6th penalty. She has one more until she is ejected from the game. This is a power jam, though, for Black Velvet and the Vaudeville Vixens. Absolutely what they need at this phase in the game.
Exactly, and that power jam wouldn't have happened if Black Velvet would have called off that jam quickly. So hoping to get an opportunity like this, picking up a grand slam and 5 more points for the Vaudeville Vixens. Supernova, though, released from the penalty box there, still having to get through on that initial pass, and then will be eligible to score points. Meanwhile, Black Velvet trying to get through a tough Reservoir Doll defense, gets through and calls off the jam after picking up 18 points for the Vaudeville Vixens, bringing them almost to 200. It looks like 196, and that'll be 19 points for the Vixens. Supernova, though, picking up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. They're still in the lead by 24 points. And we've got just 2 minutes to go, Rich.
We'll see what they can make happen here. We're going to see Shantastic McAwesome take the line for the Vixens, going up against Mouse for the Reservoir Dolls. So 2 very skilled jammers here. Mouse doing a little bit of blocking work on Shantastic McAwesome. Because really, the Res Dolls need to prevent Vixen lead jams at this point if they don't want them to come back. Mouse now focusing on trying to get through. Nice.
And Mouse just wants to stay inbounds and on that track and keep taking up time on that penalty clock. Mouse, though, gets through the pack first and gets lead jam for the Reservoir Dolls. So now it is in her control. Mouse can decide to call off that jam at any time. So now trying to stay in bounds there right on that inside line and picking up 4 points for the Reservoir Dolls. Shantastic McAwesome now also eligible to score points.
Oh, big hit on Shantastic McAwesome.
That was Call It a Wild there, knocking Shantastic McAwesome to the ground. Shantastic gets right back up, though, as Mouse speeds through the pack, I think, and picks up a grand slam and 5 points for the Reservoir Dolls.
It looks like Mouse is really happy to just burn out the clock on this one. Of course, as I say that, she's like, no, I'm going to call off the jam. Let's have one more of those, please.
That's right.
So it looks like the period clock is ticking away. We have 23 seconds left. We will likely have time to line up for just one more jam. Vixens trailing by 31 points, 200 to 31. We'll see what's going to happen here. Jocelyn Hell up to jam up against Lady Hoo-Ha. Got a replay from this last jam here as Mouse comes up on the inside.
Sweet tiptoe through that inside line as Black Velvet was taking the out, or as the Shantastic McAwesome was taking the outside.
And with that, we are now on the jam clock, folks. This is going to be it, our last jam of the game.
And we've got Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for the Reservoir Dolls up against Jocelyn Hell. Jocelyn Hell, your lead jammer here.
Jocelyn Hell out initially, however, due to a no pass, no penalty situation. She is not your lead jammer. While she's out there scoring points, she is not lead. That lead now goes to Lady Hoo-Ha. She just gets through and calls off the jam. Dolly, that will bring the game to its conclusion. Res Dolls taking the win, 205 to 231. What an incredibly hard-fought game, but the Reservoir Dolls just commanding it the entire time, keeping that lead. Vixens ever so close, but not quite making it.
That's right, and the Vixens came back each time. The Reservoir Dolls came ahead. The Vixens came back. The Reservoir Dolls came ahead. This time, though, the Reservoir Dolls in the second period just kind of kept that lead and here ran with it. Lady Hoo-Ha not able to get out as fast as in most jams, but to her advantage this last jam, gets to be the lead jammer and call off that jam to win the game. So you will see the team go around on their victory lap here at the Alliant Energy Center. And the Vaudeville Vixens, though, coming in 4th place for the season. That will give them the very first round draft pick in the new season next year. Not that that's any consolation, but you saw a great bout played by 2 very athletic teams.
An absolute.
A lot of great moves, a lot of great fun down here. So check out those stats on your screen check out the MadisonRollerDerby.org and the Mad Rollin' Dolls on our website, as well as our summer events with the Dairyland Dolls.
That's right. Be sure to check out Utter Chaos, the upcoming tournament. We're hosted here in Madison, Wisconsin. It'll be running May 18th to the 21st.
That's right, Rich.
So you can go check us out online, buy tickets for that in advance. You can catch all the roller derby action here in your backyard. But that will just about do it for us here at the Mad Rollin' Dolls. I have been Rich Mahogany.
And I'm Dolly Pardon Me, and thank you for watching Roller Derby. Dolly Pardon Me down trackside with Mouse, number 4 on the Reservoir Dolls. And Mouse, the Reservoir Dolls did a great job coming out in a very commanding lead right away at first. The Vixens tried to come back. The Reservoir Dolls took it back again and just kind of kept that lead the whole game. Was there any specific strategy that you guys used out there on the track?
The strategy that we brought into this game was a long game. We decided long ago in our team identity and our legacy that we were going to raise all of our skaters with as much talent and as much hard work and effort and resources, training-wise and everything, as we could from the get-go. So our team has played equal play. Everybody just goes out on the line. We don't have any superstar lineups that we put in if we're short. We just play whoever's lined up next to play. And placing that trust in our players has built a relationship between us that just feels unstoppable. And it makes everybody feel the confidence to go out there and do their job, no matter how many years or months of experience they might have. They're ready. So I think that was our plan, and we executed it by being able to field the strongest skaters that we could, jam after jam after jam, no matter what the Vixens tried to throw at us.
And you did that great. Also out there, 3 jammers that the Reservoir Dolls put in consistently did a great job. But yes, it's not just the jammers, it's the blockers. You guys are taking home that 3rd place here. You came away with an undefeated season until semifinals, but came back with a great bout tonight. How is everybody on the team feeling?
We're feeling really good. Again, the trust and the love that we have for each other is just through the roof. As you said, we had 3 jammers tonight. We actually have a lot more than that on our roster, but several of them are injured. Several of our blockers are injured, and I think that investing the time and the equal play opportunities for everybody early on, and just having that opportunity for everybody to play, made sure that no matter who we lost in key games, we lost several people right before semis, and that's what put us into this game instead of this game. But ultimately we had the depth on the roster to just feel really good about our team vibe, and we're really proud. We're really happy for each other. Everybody has a part of this success, even the people that are injured now.
That is for sure. And yes, thank you, Mouse. The Reservoir Dolls did a great job tonight. Thank you all for watching Roller Derby. Have a wonderful evening.